this was drama on Saturday night. What should be done after that controversial call that many say decided the game?
Listen, the officiating crew should not be allowed to be officiating in the NFL playoffs this year at a bare minimum. And I'm not, like, I get it. People have jobs. I'm not trying to, like, take people away from working for their, but it's the NFL. There's only going to be 14 teams that are in, so you do the math with when it comes to the games and the buys. Like, we have to have the best of the best. Yep. So for this crew and the way that this was mishandled, and like certainly integrity is being questioned when it comes to this, not in the playoffs. I do think that the NFL at some point, and I love the NFL, has to look at this and be like, this can't be the best that we can do. Yep. Go back years ago when we're in a playoff game, the Saints and the Rams situation happens. Have we changed anything from that, really? Mm-hmm. We are far too advanced when it comes to like technology and communication to just sit here and allow stuff like this to happen and sit and go, well, you know, the referee said that number 70 reported and everybody else said 70 didn't report it and 68 did. There's got to be something that the NFL can sit back and sit here and say, we do everything we can to have the best possible product. We pay billions of dollars for stadiums and fields. Mm-hmm. We pay players millions of dollars. The facilities and the care and the health, everything is to be the absolute best. But the officiating, both with the people that are in those roles, in the operation that gets done. There has to be some mechanism that is put into place that doesn't bog the games down and doesn't chase perfection, but chases not having.
That's what's so hard about this one, though, Dan. It wasn't that sort of call.
What do you mean?
Right, like you look at the missed DPI in the NFC Championship with the Saints and the Rams.
Right.
There should have been some protocol that says, hell no, we are not going to allow this game to finish without fixing this. And those are things that you can do differently. You don't know this until after the play. So you can't go back retrospectively and fix this, because if he walks over to the Dallas Cowboys and says that 70 has reported eligible, I don't care how they line up on the backside. If I'm strong safety Donovan Wilson, I'm not covering Taylor Decker because he's not eligible, right? And so there's no way to go back on the back end and fix this. So you have to, in some way, the punishment or the consequence for, and no disrespect to this official at all, for the laziness he exhibited. Because it was laziness, right? Because there's an attention to detail that's supposed to go along with having that job. Sure. And just because Dan Skipper throughout the day has ran onto the field and reported as eligible doesn't mean that he's doing it now.
Sure.
So just because I see him running toward me, I can't take the shortcut of thinking I know what's going on.
Yeah.
What I have to do is look him in his eyes, hear him say, I'm reporting as eligible. He didn't do that. He started to run toward the line of scrimmage, basically looking over Taylor Decker, because that's what's happened the entire night, which, if I'm not dumb, that's the way they planned it.
No doubt.
If I'm the Detroit Lions. The entire day, you've seen Dan Skipper run in and report eligible. This one time, he's going to run in again, but Taylor Decker is going to be the guy eligible. But for the official to not listen, for the official to not have the conversation, for the official to not communicate the right way, is simply on him.
Yeah.
I'm not putting this part on the entire NFL. That's on him. And that's why the consequences need to be different.
Can I ask you a question as a defensive guy? What would be the downsides to getting rid of the whole report thing? Like, why do guys actually have to, shouldn't it be the job of a defensive player to see who is eligible and who isn't eligible?
Well, so think about that situation. The only way that Donovan Wilson would know that he's eligible is if you believe the receiver's off the ball, right? Or you see the receiver off the ball. You can't ask him to see that when he's also only 2 people away from the center, right? Which is normally where the tackle lines up. He has a tackle number, which indicates this is the position I play, and now he's doing something different. You can't do that. You can't ask the players to do both things. Now, if every single play, that position or that person is eligible, then you're right. You don't have to do it. You don't have to do it, but he's not. And so that's the difference, and that's the reason the rule is created, because now you have a person who has a number that indicates to the world, I'm an ineligible player that's now eligible.
With ESPN Analytics giving them a 61% chance to reach the Super Bowl. So, Dan, let me ask you this. Who has the best chance of winning in San Francisco in the playoffs?
Yeah, the team that they're playing this weekend, the Los Angeles Rams. First of all, the job that Sean McVay and really Matthew Stafford have done to get this team to the playoffs is pretty remarkable. And maybe it's not as good as the Super Bowl run, but God bless, this is an incredible coaching job. This team was 3-6 and whatnot. Matthew didn't even practice last year. Now that they're in the playoffs, there's two reasons why that I think they're best suited. The two things that, because I don't think anyone's in the NFC is going to stop San Francisco from scoring. So you guys go score against. You got to score 35 to beat them, I think. Two things that you could do against San Francisco's defense right now. You can throw the ball outside. They're great down the middle of the field, obviously linebackers, but you have to be able to throw the ball to the outside. The arm strength of the quarterback, the ability to make those throws from Matthew Stafford gives them a distinct advantage to be able to do that. And then Kyren Williams. Kyren Williams, their tailback, second-year guy at Notre Dame, leads the NFL in yards per game, rushing at 95 yards per game. The 49ers defense is tremendous. I do think that in very specific ways, you can run the football on them off tackle. That's something that Sean McVay and the Rams offense specialize in. Do I think it's going to be easy? Absolutely not. But and Kyle Shanahan owns Sean McVay, if we're being honest, in their head-to-head records. But I just think that this team is the one that's uniquely equipped to go there and score enough points.
We're doing the same thing here with the San Francisco 49ers, which is what makes it so difficult. Because any team that they have to play, we can pick apart their deficiencies, especially when we look at how they compare to the San Francisco 49ers. Because when you think about being able to score, yes, the Rams can score, but can the Rams stop the San Francisco 49ers? And you've admitted that not really, right? No one's going to stop them. You have to try to outscore them. And so I think that's what gives your argument the validity, right? Because when we've seen Matthew Stafford be on, he's been as good as any quarterback in this entire league. But I do believe that though this game could be close, that San Francisco couldn't do it. That that Los Angeles Rams couldn't beat them. I do believe a good day by Dallas, and they could do it. Now, that's the caveat, right?
Yeah, a good day.
A good day by Dallas. That's saying that the Dallas Cowboys can go on the road and be on the road what we've seen them be at home. I have so much faith in Dak Prescott right now. I'm just being honest. When I watch Dak Prescott play the position, there's no one playing the position better. I'm not saying that he should win the MVP over Lamar Jackson. I'm not saying that I believe that Dak Prescott is a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes. When you look at the way that he's operating within what he's being asked to do, no one is doing it at a higher level. You mentioned earlier the connection between he and CeeDee Lamb, and you said going into the playoffs, you would take that as your number one quarterback wide receiver duo. I believe that you're absolutely right. Because when you go into a game against the Dallas Cowboys, you know that that dude is getting the ball. And you can't stop it. But what I loved about what Dak Prescott has done is the usage of a guy like Brandon Cooks in the red zone. We've seen Michael Gallup with big plays late in games like we saw against the Philadelphia Eagles, and the emergence of Jake Ferguson as well at the tight end position. I believe this team, if they walk into Santa Clara, walks in differently than the team we saw early on in the season, because I believe now they know more about their quarterback than they did at that point. The scary part is, if we're being honest, if not for a two-point conversion negated by an illegal touching, we're having a conversation about Mike McCarthy and clock management.
And the end of the game with the second and third down play calls.
Does that rear its head in the playoffs as we've seen it done before? And those are the things that scare me with the Cowboys.
Yeah, I think if you're the Cowboys, you would hope to be in that position, right? Like you would hope that it gets to that point where being like, hopefully Mike doesn't mess us up with the play calling. As much as I agree with that when it comes to the lack of clock and situational management, I do have to give him, again, praise and flowers for the way that he is utilizing CD. And I do feel like the reason I have hesitation with Dallas going to San Francisco is Dallas, the last 6 times that they've gone on the road and played a team with a winning record, they've lost.
Yeah.
And so